We continue now at the top of Daf Samech Vav Amud Aleph in Meseches Nazir. This is Nazir Daf 66a. The Mishnah said if you have a situation of suffix after the Zav already had two Re'iyas, so in that situation we are going to say Tameh. And the Gemara says, Amar Rava says, Lo Tema Suffix Chaza Suffix Lo Chaza. When we talk about a situation of suffix on the third Re'iyah, on seeing the third flow, we're not talking about a suffix if he saw something or not. Ella rather Vadai Chaza. He certainly saw something. The question is as follows: Suffix Machmas Shechva Zera, Suffix Machmas Re'iyah. The question is this Shechva Zera a regular situation of seeing semen, or is a situation of Re'iyah of Zav, of an actual flow of Zav? And so the halacha again is Kevan Shenizkak L'Tumah, since he's already at a situation of Tumah, meaning he's already seen two Zivas, and he already needs 7 days, 7 clean days for purification. So at that point in time, Sveiko Tameh. At that point in time, we're going to say that in a situation of doubt what it is, we say that it is Tameh. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. Shichvas Zaro Tameya, also again in that third Re'iyah, we say that his Shichvas Zera, his semen, is also going to be Tameh. And the Gemara says, Lamai, what do we mean over here? What do we mean when we say it's Tameh? Ilema Lamaga, if we just mean to say that when you touch it, it's Tameh, so that's obvious. Migora mi Shichvas Zera Datar, is this any different than a Shichvas Zera that comes out of a regular pure individual? That also is going to be Tameh when you touch it, so of course this is going to be Tameh. Rashi explains, Migara Shechva Zera Dezav, Mi Shechva Zera Detar. Why would the Shechva Zera of a Zav be any worse than the regular Shechva Zera, the Tameh B'Maga? The halach is that's also Tameh Maga, so that cannot be what the Mishnah means. And so the Gemara says, Elo Zaro Shel Zav Metame B'Masa. Rather, what it means to say is the Shechva Zera of a Zav, it's going to be Metame even B'Masa, even when you carry it, it's going to have that higher status of Tumah. And the Gemara says, Man Shamat Lahad Amar Shechva Zera Shel Zav Metame B'Masa. So who is this Tana that's saying that the Shechva Zera of a Zav is Metame B'Masa, is Tameh even when you carry it? The Gemara says, Ilei Mahai Tana de Tanya. Now, if you're going to say that it is the Tana of the following Brisa, we're referring to Rabbi Yoshua in the following Brisa. The Brisa says, Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Rabbi Eliezer says, Shechva Zaro Shel Zav Eino Metame B'Masa. He says that the Shechva Zera of a Zav is treated like regular Shechva Zera, and it's not Metame B'Masa. However, for Rabbi Yoshua Omer, but Rabbi Yoshua says Metame B'Masa. No, it is Metame B'Masa. Because it's impossible that it doesn't also contain some elements of Ziva. But the Gemara says you can't say that our Mishnah is Rabbi Yoshua, because I feel Rabbi Yoshua lo Omer ela misham tzechzuche Ziva. Even Rabbi Yoshua, he's only saying because we know that it's not pure Shechva Zera, because we know there's some elements of Ziva, that's why Rabbi Yoshua says it's Metame B'Masa. Aval be'enei lo, but if it would be pure in terms of Shechva Zera, so we would say no, it's not Metame B'Masa according to Rabbi Yoshua. But our Mishnah seems to be going further and seems to be saying if it's pure Shechva Zera, it is also Metame B'Masa. And so the Gemara says again, Aval be'enei lo amar, but he wouldn't say that if it was pure. And so the Gemara instead says, Ela amar Avada Barava, rather Avada Barava says, Lomar, what the Mishnah means when it says Shechva Zaro Tameh, once the Zav has seen two flows of Ziva at that point in time, his Shechva Zera is Tameh, what it means is, She'ein Tolen Ba, that third time when he sees Ziva, so again we said that when he sees the third flow, we do not care if it comes from external factors, and that's true in this case as well. Normally we say, if a person sees Keri, if a person sees Shechva Zera, so if he has a Ziva after, so we assume that is because of external factors, and we don't count it as Ziva. But again, as we said, the third flow already, we don't care if it's from external factors, it doesn't make any difference, and therefore we say, even in a situation where there was Shechva Zera, we still say that third flow is considered a third flow of Ziva. And the Gemara continues, Savara Papa Kame de Rava Lamema, Papa thought to say in front of Rava, Aidi Chul Shahu de Chazi, that the external factor over here is, a Baal Keri, when he sees Shechva Zera, he becomes weak, and that's the external factor that caused him to see this flow, to see the Ziva. And again, on the first two times, if there's an external factor, it's not considered Ziva. Only on the third time do we say that it doesn't matter if there's an external factor. But the point is, Rapapa thought that the reason is because of the weakening that happens when the person has Shechva Zera. But Amar le Rava, but Rava said back to Rapapa, that cannot be the case. Because we learned in a Mishnah, didn't we learn in a Mishnah, Gerish and his Gayer, let's say you have a convert, and he sees Shechva Zera before he converts, and then he converts, so Metame Miyad Beziva, we say that immediately he's Tamei Ziva, and Amar Lein Lacholi Gadol Mizen, that individual, he's for sure considered weak, because even the process of accepting the Torah of converting, that adds illness, so to speak, it adds weakness, plus he saw the Shechva Zera, yet we're saying he's Metame Beziva right away, we don't care about the Shechva Zera, so that cannot possibly be the explanation. And the Rosh explains, Amar le Rava says to him, Vatnan, but we learned in the Mishnah, Ger Shara Keri V'Niskayer. Let's say you have a convert, he sees Keri and then he converts. Metame Beziva Me'es Le'es. So we say that he is Metame Beziva if it's within 24 hours. And Rabbi Yossi Omer, Yomer, Rabbi Yossi says if it's within the same day. Again, we still say that there's Tumah Ziva. Uvetosus Mukila B'Niskayer Mol, Dilav Hachi calls Man Shemitztar Machmas Hamila, Eino Metame Beziva. Tosa says over there, it has to be he already had a bris milah, because otherwise, if he had the bris milah, that might have been what caused the ziva. And the proper text of the Gemara should be, and in such a situation of a convert, there's no greater illness than that. Meaning, if you're going to say that the reason in general why a Baal carries, so if he has ziva, we say that it's not considered ziva mishum chulsha, is because of weakness. So mali yisrael mali ger. What's the difference between a Jew and a convert? Adrab, on the contrary, tvei chol sheika beger shehichnis atzmo. Ledaigas, will continue this on the other amud. Ledaigas ha-mitzvahs. By a ger, there's even more weakness when he enters into the worry of having to perform mitzvahs. And so the Gemara is going to say, we'll read it in the Rush first, Ela tanoihi, rather it's a machlokas tanoim, means as follows. Kilomar, what the Gemara is going to say is as follows. Time with the keri mitar ziva, the real reason why by a bal keri we say that the ziva is pure, lav mishum choshet, has nothing to do with weakness like we thought. Ela gezeres hakosavi, it's actually gezeres hakosav. V'davka b'Yisrael v'lo beger, we have to say that's only by a Jew and not by a convert. Kamosha farish l'kamon, like I'll explain later on. V'shinuya de Ravada barava lesa, and that answer that Ravada barava tried to suggest, what does it mean in the Mishnah when it says this, the shichvas zera of the zav is tameh, that it means to say that in a situation of shichvas zera, by the third time, let's say he's already seen the flows of ziva twice, so the third time it's still tameh because we don't care about the external factor. That's lesser. That's actually not true. Even in a situation where it's the third flow, we still say that it's mitayar the ziva. If he has shichva zera, it's mitayar the ziva through a gzeres hakosav. The shichva zera demasnisin mefarish la Rava, and Rava will explain that when it says again the shichva zera of this zav is tameh, Rava explains that it does mean like we suggested before. Shemitami v'masa means that it's mitami v'masa. Even by carrying it, it creates tumah. It's not treated like regular shichva zera. It's not just tameh v'maga. V'lo Rabbi Yoshua. Not that we're following Rabbi Yoshua. Again, in the Brisa quoted earlier, Ela kahani tanoi. Rather, it follows the tanoim, which the Gemara will elaborate on coming up. And the Gemara again continues, Ela Tanoihi, again it follows the following Tanoim, our Mishnah. The Tanya, as we learned in a Brisa, Shichvas Zera Shel Zav, if you have the semen of a Zav, Mitame B'masa, it is Mitame B'masa, it becomes tummy when you carry, it creates tummy through carrying, Kol Me'es La'es, as long as it is within 24 hours, means to say as long as it's within 24 hours of the Ziva, of the flow. Rabbi Yossi Omer Yomer, Rabbi Yossi says, no, it has to be within the day, not 24 hours, but till the end of the day. And the Gemara says, B'mai Kamiflagi. So what's the machlokas over here? Tanoim, whether it's 24 hours or till the end of the day. And to that the Gemara says Bid Shmuel. They're arguing within Shmuel. The Shmuel Rami, because Shmuel had the following contradiction in Psukim. Ksiv, one pasuk says Ki yebecha ish tahar ish asher lo yatar mikrei laila. It uses the term mikrei laila in occurrence, talking about shechva zera, in occurrence of the night. Uksiv lifnos erev yirchatz b'mayim. And then it says towards the evening he immerses, he bathes in water. And so the Gemara explains, Man Damer Me'es Leis, the one that says that it goes by a 24-hour period, Dayak mi lifnos erev. So he learns from the word lifnos erev, that indicates Me'es Leis. V'idach Dayak mikrei laila. And the other one he learns from the term mikrei laila, that indicates till the end of the day. And the Gemara says, Man Damer mi lifnos erev haksiv mikrei laila. The one who says lifnos erev, but doesn't it actually say mikrei laila? How does he understand that part of the pasuk? Amar le, so he said to him, Orcha de kari l'masya belel. You know, all that pasuk means to say is that it's normal for a Baal Keri to see that seminal emission, to see it at night. And the Rosh explains this again on the following Amud. Ksiv isha sher lo yatar mikrei laila. The pasuk talks about a person who's not pure. He sees he has an occurrence at night, and we understand that the mashma sher lo yatar bistam kilomar shu tamei tuma acheres hayotze migufo dumya dekeri. We're understanding that pasuk to mean what's asher lo yatar, that he's already tamei in a different fashion, similar to keri, meaning he's a zav. Umayin niu ziva. We're talking about ziva. Umikrei mashma shechva zera, and then the word mikra sounds like he has shechva zera after being a zav. Shera hakeri achar haziva. He sees the carry after the ziva. Uchsiv laila miyusar. There's an extra word laila there. Elashma mina de laila shela achar haziva yesh latipas carry din ziva matami b'masa. What it means is that the night after the ziva. So if he sees carry, it has a halacha status of ziva, and it's tamei masa. But Tanakama daik mi lifnos erev. And the Tanakama, he learns from the other part of the pasuk, lifnos erev. The ad sheyifna hayom means until the day finishes. The hainu me'es leis. That's the full day of 24 hours. Yesh lo din ziva. It has the status of ziva. And the Rosh continues, according to the one who understands from Lifnos Erev, what does he do with Laila? Amar Le, he says, Tim, the pasuk just means to say that generally a person becomes a Baal Keri at night. V'lo miyasr l'drasha, it's not an extra word, it shouldn't be used for a drasha. And the Rosh explains the other side as well. Umanda Amar Yomo Savar de Lifnos Erev, the one who says Yomo, who learns from the word Laila, what does he do with Lifnos Erev? He says that the term Lifnos Erev, Bishvil Harev Shemesh Nakat, that's just talking about in the purification process, waiting for the sun to go down. That even if he immersed during the day, lo niter legamri ad lifnos erev, he's not going to become completely pure until the end of the day. And the Gemara continues with the Mishnah, Nazir haya Shmuel kedivrei Rabbi Nehorai. According to Rabbi Nehorai, Shmuel was a Nazir. Shenemar, like the pasuk says by Shmuel, Umore lo yala al rosho, it says More lo yala al rosho, and we understand that to mean, according to this approach, that it means he's not allowed to shave his head like a Nazir. Namar b'Shimshon umore, it says by Shimshon, the same term umore. V'namar b'Shmuel umore, it uses that term by Shmuel. Ma'amore ha'amure b'Shimshon, Nazir, just like the word More by Shimshon, he's a Nazir. Af More ha'amure b'Shmuel, so to the term More by Shmuel, Nazir, it indicates he is a Nazir. Amar Rabbi Yossi responded to this and argued, "V'aloin Mora elishal basar v'dam." Doesn't the word Mora, when it says by Shmuel Mora lo yala rosha, what it really means is he's not going to have any fear of people. Amar le Rabbi Nehorai said, no, that can't be what it means. V'alo kvar nemer, because doesn't the pasuk already say Vayomer Shmuel echelech v'shama Shaul v'hargeni? It says Shmuel said, how can I go if Shaul hears he's going to kill me? So shekvar haya love Mora shal basar v'dam. You see that he did have fear of other people. Therefore, that cannot be the interpretation of the pasuk. Rather, the pasuk is referring to Nazirus. And the Gemara says, Amar le Rav l'chiyah brei, Rav said it to Chiyah his son, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Samech Vav Amud Beis.